After a crazy week of LeBron James signing his contract extension and way more trade talks going out there, I broke it down to the 4 trades that the Lakers are talking about right now and that they absolutely should be making. The last trade, I believe, makes the most sense, and it will make the Lakers a championship contender, and there's no questions. Now, this is a trade that's not being talked about near as much as the Kyrie Irving trade, but I think brings in so much more value and potential, and it is some new grumblings from Bogdonovich that this could possibly happen. So you're definitely going to want to stay tuned to the end because it's an absolute overhaul and you're not going to want to miss it. I am your NBA white guy. I talk all things NBA hoops from a hooper's perspective. This isn't somebody who's never played the game. And if you want to hear that and more, make sure that you tap that subscribe button and you click the bell so you're notified every time I do a new video. Okay, so there's 4 trades that are going on right now with Lakers talks. I think that they are going to make a move. LeBron James just signed his $97.1 contract extension for 2 years. The next 3 years, he's there. Anthony Davis is there. They've got 2 incredible pieces. Anthony Davis has only played 35% of his games with the Lakers, but the dude's coming in better shape. Hopefully, one of these trades, especially the last one, is going to help him out the most because if he has to go down there and play in the 5 spot, he's going to bang up his body, and every time he lands, I fear he's going to hyperextend his knee or roll his ankle. And why are you wearing low-top shoes, AD? Get you some support, dog. So trade number 1 came out from Adrian Wojnarowski just the other day. He tweeted saying the Los Angeles Lakers are willing to give up 2 of those first-round picks, the 2 that they have to get Kyrie Irving. This goes against Jeanie Buss. Jeanie Buss has been very vocal saying, no, we're not getting rid of both of those picks. But whoever Wojnarowski's talking to, the Woj man, he says that this is viable. Now, I want to talk about this because, yes, Kyrie Irving coupled up with LeBron James, I think this is a dynamic duo, and then you add obviously Anthony Davis in the mix, and this could be a championship contending team. Now, they don't have as much support role around them, but at the same time, what Kyrie Irving will do to this team is drastic, a massive change. And coming from a hooper's perspective, this is things other than Kyrie can dribble really good and finish at the rim that you just don't understand if you've never played the game. Basketball becomes very, very simple when you have shooters and you have threats to score. Now, if you look at the Warriors, yes, you've got Steph, you've got Clay, and they're some of the greatest shooters ever. But what is the defense doing? They're constantly looking around trying to find these players. That makes it so much more advantageous for players who can drive or cut to get open, right? This is what the Lakers never had last year, or even the last 2 years. They really did not have any of these players that could really stretch the floor, and they don't cut. I am sick and tired of watching these offenses where the entire Lakers team and bench is sitting there staring at LeBron James dribbling the ball. You've got to get movement in there, and having Kyrie Irving, even driving and kicking to him, letting him dribble in and drive, this is going to start separating the defense, and they're really going to have to watch 1 or 2 players at least watching where Kyrie Irving is at all times. That's why LeBron can get to the cup better and kick to better shooters. So I think the Kyrie trade is huge because he can obviously get a bucket whenever needed. LeBron will shoulder all of the criticism and all of the, podium stuff. He just has to go out there and hoop, Kyrie being that, and he's going to draw a ton of defenders his way. Now, the next trade number 2 comes from the Indiana Pacers. There is a lot of talks about this, and I am kind of a big fan of it, but at the same time, I am absolutely pissed off about it because one of the names in the trade is Buddy Hield. The Lakers could have easily gotten him 2 years ago. He can shoot well over 40%, although last year he was right at the 40% mark. But again, from a hooper's perspective, we don't look at just numbers. Numbers don't mean crap in the NBA. You've got to be able to bring these defenses out, and you have to have them worried about the other players. So when you talk about bringing in a Buddy Hield and even a Miles Turner, so the thing that they could do in the trade talk that's happening is obviously Russ and a pick to get Buddy Hield and to get Miles Turner over to the Los Angeles Lakers. I love it. Having Buddy Hield out there, somebody who can shoot really well, and he's a good stretch defender out there. Plus, Miles Turner's another big man. This is, again, somebody who's going to take some of the weight off of Anthony Davis's shoulder from getting hurt and having to go down there in the 5 spot and pound the basket. So this is a good trade, I think, for the Lakers. I'm not like overly jacked about it. You get the shooting and you get Miles Turner who can actually stretch out the defense too. And we have to think this is a Darvingham offense, so they're going to do 4 out, 1 in. So what does that mean? Who's in? Anthony Davis, Miles Turner, they're going to be the dudes in, and can you play them together? That's the one thing that you have to watch, because Anthony Davis, when he was actually shooting two years ago, especially in the bubble, he's a threat to shoot that 3 and was stretching the defense. Last year, he shot like negative 40%, so nobody cared if he shot the ball. Miles Turner, he's another guy. He shoots about 30% from the 3, and again, statistics or whatever, but he's on the coaching, on the scouting report, before every game, you're getting a scouting report. Hey, if Miles Turner's in, we gotta go out there and we value him shooting 3s. He can knock those down. So, and anytime you start knocking those 3s down, man, that's what the momentum starts shifting. So I think that's a good trade. Number 3 on the list is one that I'm really enjoying, and something that actually one of my commenters on this channel brought up. So if you have trade ideas that I'm not talking about for the Lakers, make sure that you comment down below. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a poll. You're either going to put number 1, 2, 3, or 4. Which trade would you like the Lakers to do after I get talking about these? And if there's, or put number 5, a trade that I'm not talking about. So the next one, number 3, is a 3-team trade. So this is with the Knicks and the Jazz. The Jazz are obviously done. They are absolutely just selling the farm. They're trying to get as much draft capital as possible because nobody wants to go to Utah. So they create these incredible teams. They must be able to draft well. They always have, and they can develop these players. So they have great teams. It wasn't but about 2 years ago they had one of the best, if not best, records in the West. But the problem is players hate playing there. I've had family living in Utah, and it's not the best place to live. So these stars want to get out of there, and that's the problem, is that you can't keep them and you can't attract free agents. So Utah knows this. They're going to get rid of everybody, start fresh, develop, and create another great team. But Donovan Mitchell, he wants out. Utah's trying to get rid of everything. Obviously, the Lakers aren't going to do this, but the big talk is with the Knicks. So what you have to do is you got to get this 3-team going. Now, this means that Russell Westbrook's going to go to Utah for the buyout. That means they can get the picks too. It also means that Donovan McNabb will go over to the New York Knicks. I don't know how that's going to work out. You just paid Jalen Brunson $100 million. He's a point guard and a small one. And Donovan's a point guard, although he can get to the rack and score tons of buckets. It may be a great backcourt duo, but it's a very small one. But still, at the end of the day, New York needs some of these players. They still got Barrett too there, who kind of runs the point. I don't know how that's going to work, but it would be very, very advantageous for the Lakers because they would be getting back the player of Jordan Clarkston. It's crazy because when they played together with LeBron, I mean, you could see the talent, but last year with Utah, especially in the postseason, incredible. That was one of the funnest things to watch, was this player really take it to the next level. In fact, I had to write him down. In the postseason, he went from about 33% three-point shooting to almost 40%, and went from 16 points a game to 18 points again. Went from 82% free throw shooting to 90. So you're talking playoffs, which is what we need you for at the Lakers, and he is excelling and stepping up to the plate. That's something that I really enjoy. So that's why I'm kind of liking these later picks than just the Kyrie one or the Indiana Pacers one. Again, I'll let you guys vote down below, but the 4th pick, okay, I got to read this because it's a big one, and I saw this and I love it. This would be the best situation for the Lakers, and I don't think there's a close second. You get rid of THT, Gabriel, the 2027 pick, and Westbrook. That goes all to the Utah Jazz for Conley, Bogdonovich, Pat Bev, and Jordan Clarkston. Let's talk about this trade right now. Now you're getting rid of THT. That's fine. I mean, THT was a heck of a player. He's going to probably go to a Utah or one of these other teams and just ball out. That dude can straight up play. But he's very, very young. Doesn't have that postseason experience, even though, he's been with the Lakers or whatever. But you just see it. When he's in that system with the Lakers, with LeBron, yes, he has spurts and moments where he can go off, and they really just let him go get buckets. But now you're going to bring in Conley. Conley shoots 41% from the 3, stretching the floor. That's better percentage than Kyrie. It's not as scary as a dribble finisher as Kyrie, but you got to guard Conley. Conley's a very good defender. He also played 75 games last year, so he's going to be healthy. That's a very big thing. The next guy, Bogdanovich, he's 6'8" and can shoot the 3. Actually, I watched, some of the Utah game, only if they were playing like the Lakers or something, but every time he had the ball around the 3, I was like, we got to guard him. Like, he has that fear factor. I don't know, it's like that white, you know, European dude. They just, you know, they can shoot, and that is another floor stretcher. So you have Conley, Bogdonovich, and Jordan Clarkston. We already talked about, especially in the postseason, he's shooting almost 40%, 90% from free throw. He can go get you 25 points if you need. These are players that, again, if you know from a hooper's perspective, they're going to help the LA Lakers, especially when LeBron sits. We need LeBron sitting a little bit more during the regular season and not playing 38, 39, 40, 42 minutes. And it seemed like they went to overtime in like half their games last year. He's got to be able to take time off, a couple minutes, you know, resting, and not lose leads. Guess who's going to come in? I don't think he would start, but who would come in? Pat Bev, the absolute monster. I've said this in many of my other videos. From a hooper's perspective, you got to have these Bulldogs. You have to have that dude who everybody hates to play against, but absolutely loves to have on their team. Dennis Rodman. You got Draymond. Even Charles Barkley, even though he was a way better player, you hated playing against these players, just like Rajon Rondo, just like Gary Payton. Pat Bev is going to get in your skin. I talked about this in the last episode that, you know, and I'll actually finish this out with some free agent signees that I think would be really powerful in the Laker locker room. But that trade right there, the number 4, again, go down and comment down below. Either 1, Kyrie Irving and the 2 picks. Number 2 is the Pacers getting Buddy Hield and Turner, getting rid of obviously Westbrook. Number 3 is that 3-team trade with the Knicks and the Pacers, but only getting Clarkston back, but they do get rid of Russell Westbrook, and they can keep some of those picks. Or the 4th one, where you basically, you know, get rid of all the picks, THT, and you get an absolute, you know, haul back from Utah with full of shooters, full of defenders. That would make this team very scary. You have out there in the free agency, I don't even know how, but Lou Williams is sitting out there, 6th man of the year, of the lifetime. I would love to see him in. Again, you got to have those players. When you are a star player and you're playing and you go sit the bench and you lose that lead, 5-10 points like that just goes away. It's so frustrating. And it's also, when you get back onto the court, you're having to apply extra pressure, play harder, play more minutes, and that's what we got to avoid with the LA Lakers. So I love that overhaul. Getting a guy like Lou Williams, you got either Marcus or Markieff Morris. They're available as a free agent. Another tough guy. Got to have those freaking tough guys in the locker room, man. They are the glue. I'm telling you, there's nothing better. That might have been my role when I was hooping, because I was diving all over the floor, getting every rebound, and I earned starting positions all through college because of that. So you have to have that glue, man. Comment down below which trade you want to see, and make sure, if you're loving this content from me, to tap that subscribe button and click the bell. Give me the like sign if you like what I'm doing here. And until the next video, my homies, we'll catch you later.